Morning, it's August 19th. This is To My Liberal Friends. Well, Democrats and liberals have a visceral hatred of Donald Trump. And being honest, I don't understand this phenomenon. Many now call it TDS, which means Trump Derangement Syndrome. And we've all seen it on display, and we've seen it, unfortunately, in some of our friends. Donald Trump has many personal flaws, but not to the extent that the hatred towards him should be so prevalent. They love to call Trump a fascist. They say his administration is fascism. It's become the catch-all cry for Democrats for anything that Trump says or does that they disagree with. We see the signs in Washington, D.C. decrying fascism because Trump has taken over the fight against crime in our nation's capital. Having spent most of my life there, I found it amusing that the vast majority of the protesters were white in a heavily black majority city. More than likely they're paid to be at the protest, or they're congressional staffers for Democratic offices who ventured off Capitol Hill to protest, knowing there would be a strong police presence to keep them safe. And I wonder how many of them would casually walk the streets of Anacostia or other neighborhoods. But the real question is, do they understand what fascism really is? Just as those that call for socialism have never lived in a socialist state, these misguided protesters have no idea what real fascism is, or they would not be in the streets with their signs and chants. Just for edification, I think we should look at what they would be happening if they lived in a truly fascist state. And I saw this list on Substack, and I want to use it. No one would call Trump a fascist at all, let alone as an endless howling caterwaul we must all endure day in and day out if this were truly a fascist state. You would be mandated to read only state-run propaganda. All news comes from the state. There's no such thing as freedom of the press. But what's our press now? Nearly 100% in support of Democrats. In fascism, you can't protest with stupid signs that call Trump a fascist because you'd be shot on the spot or thrown in jail. They protest every second of the day today, anywhere they want. Under fascism, you could not make jokes about Trump on late-night comedy. And no, getting fired for losing a network $40 million per year and staying on for months is not fascism. South Park had to prove they didn't sell out to Trump by doing an offensive bit on Trump that no self-respecting fascist would allow. Trump can criticize them or anyone because they're not living in a fascist state. And fascists don't ask. They show up and they shoot you on the spot or they throw you in jail. Mass deportations, even if they seem awful and inhumane, are not example of fascism. It's not race-based, no matter how many people insist it is. Oh, and a fascist would never allow you to resist or protest deportations, or you'd be put in jail. Fascists eliminate all elections. Why bother? All power to the state and conform or else. If the protagonists on the left, they believe there'll be no elections, but there will be. Trump won't run in 2028, despite the hysterical bleedings from so many Democrats. America First is not fascism. It's just basically nationalism. You could call it isolation, nativism, whatever you want. Closing the border, cleaning up crime and tariffs to bring back manufacturing, they're not examples of fascism. Under fascism, you eliminate the cult-like ideology that affected all public schools and universities and what people like me voted for. That's democracy, not fascism. Declaring there are only two genders, like saying the planets revolve around the sun, not fascism, is a simple fact. If people want to live in a fantasy world of identity, that's their choice. In a fascist state, they wouldn't be allowed to. Now, fascists would demand that you only make TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube propaganda for the state only. None of the influencers would be allowed to sing their Manson-like family chant that wishes his death. And cleaning up D.C. is not fascism. Was it fascism when Gavin Newsom cleaned up Los Angeles? At least for the brief moment he did, when he cleaned up San Francisco for the China visit. Losing an election is not fascism. Liberals and Democrats seem to forget that their guys take actions. Joe Biden treated January 6th like it was Pearl Harbor or 9/11. They censored speech on social media. Democrats are reading, not believing, what the CIA and FBI conspired with the Obama-Clinton campaign to derail Donald Trump's presidency. In the last election, they tried to remove his name from the ballot. Now that sounds like fascism to me. What they really mean when they call Trump and Republicans fascists is they don't like it when other people win elections and the voters select them to run the country. What they would like is to throw everyone that disagrees with their loony ideas out of the country. If you won't conform, then you have to go. And that's fascism. It's been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.